Hey there, I would like to talk a little bit about mines in Townstar. The mines are on the industrial tab and they cost 25K to build and 5 lumber, 5 wood, and 5 energy. They cost $100 a minute to run. Um, Other than that, they're pretty straightforward. You can, you have to be next to, it tells you right here, placed near paved road and mountains. So the mine has to be placed by a paved road and mountains. So I've got a mountain here. This whole row, even though it looks like on the end that this mountain doesn't go quite all the way on both sides, the whole row can be full of mines if that's what you would like. The thing about mines though, if we turn this on and excuse me, I pressed the wrong thing, it looks like. Okay, let me been having a little trouble with my mouse today. There we go. If we say we want to make iron, it takes, or all of them really, they take 3 lumber, 3 energy, and 2 water drums. So you might be thinking that, well, I'll just put next to this, I'll just put a water pump on each side and there's my 2 water drums. Well, you can do that. However, if you do that, the time that it takes the mine to produce will be its maximum. It doesn't like water, and the theory is that it's like you're flooding the mine. Okay, they made it that way so it would be a little harder to do mining, I guess. But the time that it takes, I'm trying to find for you the time that it takes to craft. It says 30 seconds, but if you have water next to it, it slows it down, and I'm not sure the exact amount of minutes, but the more you have next to it, the worse it gets. So this pond here is far enough away because ponds do a range of 2, 1, so it's 0 right here. So this will not affect the mine. So that is a good thing for that. The things that you need: chromium and limestone to make glass bottles for the wine, and you need the iron to make several things. One thing would be iron and oak make the casks for the oak barrels. That takes iron to make oak barrels, and those are needed in the wine process. The glass factory needs iron to build, but to make wine bottles you need chromium, silica, and limestone. The power plant, the nuclear power plant, takes 5 steel and 5 iron, and the steel is made from iron, and it takes 1 iron to make a steel mill, and I believe it takes 10 iron to make 1 piece of steel. Okay, so you kind of get locked into all this. Plus the steel mill is pretty expensive. It's 2 million, and then the nuclear power plant on top of that is 10 million. So you don't have to, but the easiest way to get to that part to me is to grow grapes. Figure out how you can make a spot, and it needs to be across from your mountain. And another thing that you need to consider about the mountains and making the mining, there are mountains. Let me think of where one in particular is. Bear with me 1 second. Sorry about that. This would actually be a good one right here. This or not that one. This would be a good example. You see how you've got water on this side, the river on this side right here. Well, we've already discussed, and if you watch the river video, that the river does along the whole row, it does 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 water. That means on your mountain, I told you that the mines are sensitive to water. So that means that the first 5 mines would be affected by this water. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Rivers are great, but they're not great when they're cat-a-corner to a mine. Oceans don't bother the mines. So if you had the ocean next to the mine like that, like this right here, that would not be affected. It would not be water affected at all, and oceans don't have any adverse effects on mines. So that's just another part of it that you need to keep in mind. You don't want a river on this side, because then these first 5 rows are going to be affected, and that doesn't mean you can't build mines there, but they're going to be slower if you do. So that's really all there is to know about mines. They're absolutely wonderful if you need them. If not, they're a bit of a pain because they are expensive to run. 3 lumber is kind of a lot, and then to make the water drums, you can actually let me make one right here, and keep in mind that the water drums need to be stored in a warehouse, but you can go to the industrial tab and go down and create a water facility. And this is harder to manage because you have to keep enough water producing that you have enough for your mines. However, the things that they produce, whether it be the iron, the chromium, or the limestone, those go into a warehouse as well. So you have to be able to manage your warehouse space. If you've got anything that, if you don't have electricity, I've got 2 power plants set up right here. So if I had one down here that needed electricity, then I would have to be producing electricity. I have to be producing water, drums, and I would have to be producing lumber, a lot of lumber. And when you're producing lumber and you leave a lumber mill running, then if you're growing grapes, which you're going to need grapes for your wine process, if that's what you're after here, then they can use up all the wood, and then you won't have wood for your farmers to put on your grapevines. So I'll go over more details about that kind of thing. I'll do a video on a winery, how to make wine. So I'm just letting you know that there are a lot of things to consider, and one thing that you might want to do, if you put a nuclear power plant, these only count, like this would be 3, and then over here, so this would affect 2 power from here, here, and here, and this one would affect 2 power here, here, and here. So they are, and they would affect 1 power, let me see, right here. So what you can do is figure out how many power plants and put power plants across from your mines. That way you don't have to do the energy, which is a big saver. If you didn't have to do the energy, that'd be one less thing to worry about in your warehouse. And also, the other thing to consider is, once you save up for a nuclear power plant, they will do right here 4, 3, 2, 1. So they have a nuclear power plant would have a bigger range. I need to do a video on that. So I'm not meaning to get sidetracked, but there's a lot to know about how you can use your mines and get them to run more efficiently. And if you might have to combine some of the knowledge on the things that I'm making videos about to figure out everything that you're gonna, every piece of your puzzle. But anyway, that's the mine, and they're not that bad, but they can be overwhelming when you've got, if you've got the whole row of 16 of them running. So that's an awful lot of lumber, because each one takes 3 lumber to make iron. All right, well, that is it for the mines. I hope this was informative. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.